Hey everybody, Adam O'Leary with Encite Branding, Marketing, Creative, back with another episode of Encite Live. And I've got yet another new co-host, Nikka Yushkovich. I always butcher that. So Nikka is a new team member of ours, brought on to be a social media marketing manager. But we're here today to talk about a topic that I found online that I thought was really interesting. But it had to do with plant-based foods.
Yep, Beyond Meat.
Beyond Meat, the Impossible Burger, which is Impossible Foods. So there's an article in Ag Funder by a man named Adam Hanf, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that name either, but hopefully I didn't butcher it too much. But he talked about how Beyond Meat, since it's come out, has been kind of a marketing and kind of branding blunder, I think he used the phrase. So when it came out, it was really great, right? Like there was a lot of buzz around it. I mean, I'm not a vegan. I'll eat vegetarian from time to time. I tried the Impossible Burger. We tried it at our house.
Yep.
And I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people tried it too, just based off of the fact that, oh, this is a burger or this is a plant-based burger that tastes like real meat.
Yeah.
And so I think that whole concept was very interesting to people. So even if you aren't vegan or plant-based, you kind of want to try it anyway. But
right. Yeah, we started when we were making burgers, we thought I had a conversation. And I was thinking, I was like, you know what I put on my burger? I always put like green chili and cheese and an egg and like all this stuff, right? Like I'm like, well, I don't really taste the burger as much as I taste all the stuff, right? So anyway, I thought it was really good.
I don't know about the egg.
You don't like the egg?
I don't know about the egg on a burger. That's the first I've heard
like
about
a fried
that.
egg?
I don't know about that.
You have to try it. Fried egg for sure. But when plant-based meat kind of took off, there's a kind of a crowded market. There was, it started to be a lot of people in the space, right? And sales started to slow. But I think what the article was talking about was there was kind of like very few differentiation within the market, and they were all kind of using the same. They're positioning themselves in the same of, hey, we're an alternative to regular meat, right? But they're not saying why I'm different from the other people in the space,
right?
Which I think is one of the biggest blunders that he talked about.
Absolutely. I feel like with branding, especially, one of the biggest things that you can do when you're starting out is creating loyalty and having customers be loyal to your product. And if all of the companies within that same industry is kind of profiting and promoting the same sort of thing, there isn't really a way for customers to say, I want this one over this one.
Yeah. And that was kind of like, I mean, we talk about this a lot. We mention this all the time, like brand strategy and positioning and brand attributes. How are you looking at not only the industry as a whole, but you're also looking at your competitive environment. You're researching what your competitors are doing, what their messaging is, because you can't compete on the same level, because otherwise if you're doing the same kind of brand attributes, hey, it's an alternative to regular meat. So then what are you competing on? There's no loyalty. There's no. Then you start competing on price. And if you start to compete on price, I mean, it's not cheap, right?
Yeah.
So if you compete on price, I'm sure that their margins in food are very thin. But if you compete on price, well, now, man, that's a hard place to be.
Absolutely. And especially because they're not only competing against themselves, but they're also competing against these giant meat industries. So it would make sense that they would really have to stand out in a way that isn't just, this is a supplement to your meat, in order to gain a bigger market share overall.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a good point, because looking at the competitive environment, not only internally but externally, like you're looking at what the alternative is, and making sure that you're coming together almost like a co-op. We used to have a client years ago that was it was a potato board. So it was a conglomerate of potato farmers that come together, put money together, and they promote potatoes, potatoes, right? Like, so they're helping to promote the product, not necessarily their individual brands, because they're competing against all those other alternatives. Like, why is potatoes better over, I don't forget what the campaign used to be, but why is potatoes better than Brussels sprouts? Than, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it seems like that particular industry, they had an industry association, and maybe they do, that they put together, and you're just promoting plant-based foods as a whole.
Absolutely.
And then you're going after, because I think one of the other mistakes in the article they talked about was that they started just kind of marketing this just to like vegetarians and vegans, and not necessarily. I love a good steak, right?
Yeah.
Like but I understand that I can't eat steak all day, every day,
Yes.
or burgers all day, every day. So to have that alternative that's a little bit healthier for me would be a benefit. So to turn that audience from people that are already on your side to all that bigger market share would be make a lot of sense.
I feel like they're relying a lot on other types of people to sort of do that work for them, as far as like getting meat eaters to try their products. And I think like one of the biggest things is documentaries obviously coming out about how meat consumption is not only bad for your health, but also for the environment and whatever else. And a lot of these places are coming out and saying that even replacing one meat meal per week is going to save a lot of carbon and a lot of your health and well-being. So I don't know. I feel like just that overall is a big thing too, is that they're not just doing the work for themselves. They're more so taking those marketing efforts and giving it to the researchers and to people within the more scientific field of it all. So
makes a lot of sense.
Yes, that's also another thing that isn't probably the best for them.
Yeah, for sure. But you also heard something else about one of the manufacturers of plant-based foods?
Yes, so Beyond Meat, who we're talking about right now, their stock obviously plummeted from like over 100 to 16 a couple weeks ago. And then a few days after the article that you read came out, one of the executives at Beyond Meat had a biting incident where he bit somebody in the nose over an argument or some sort of conflict, and has since stepped down. So I'm assuming that their stock is not any better than it was a week ago, if anything worse, because not only are these executives stepping down, but there's also this huge PR nightmare that they now have to deal with. And if their marketing efforts thus far has told us anything, I don't think that they're gonna handle this PR scandal any better.
Yeah, so that's kind of ironic, right?
Yes.
Dylan, our videographer, said the phrase, "That's ironic that somebody who has a plant-based vegan vegetarian bit somebody in the nose."
Yeah, it doesn't really bode
Some kind
well.
of fight. I guess it's got like a fight or a bar, or drinks were involved, I'm guessing, because I don't know that you just normally would bite somebody without, whatever.
I have no idea. I don't think nobody would just bite anybody to begin with, so I think that's an issue too. And also, like, the irony thing, you know, people are going to start thinking, you know, am I going to want meat so much that I'm just going to start fighting people if I'm not eating steaks and just going with the plant-based?
Like you're just
cannot help their share at all.
That's not right. Well,
no.
I'm sure there's more to it. Maybe we'll do a follow-up on it next time to see kind of what happened and get some details. But well, yeah, it's an interesting case study. It's an interesting, article that's coming out to seeing how they were brought to market, and as the categories matured, kind of what's happened, what hasn't happened, the good and the bad stuff. So, but yeah, it's interesting. Yep. So I do want to give you a couple minutes as a new team member at Encite, as a new social media marketing manager. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, yeah. So as Adam mentioned, I'm Nikka. I'm the new social media marketing manager at Encite. I've been working since the beginning of the month. So for a few weeks now, been keeping up on everything and sort of updating things, getting them to where we think they should be at this point. And I think, being younger, Gen Z pretty much helps with the social media thing. So sort of just getting things a little bit updated, but loved working with Encite so far, and hopefully it'll keep getting better and better.
Well, now you're going to be a social media star, YouTuber now.
Yes.
Even though you're already a gamer.
Now.
You're a gamer though too, right?
I'm a gamer too, and now I guess I'm a YouTuber as well. So I'm just a public figure now. I don't know how long I'm going to need this job for anymore.
Okay,
this is going to take off.
Man, it's like you're just grown.
Straight to the head.
Straight to the head.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're glad to have you. I know that we love to have different perspectives and, different generations, within the organization to make sure that we're, doing the best we can for ourselves and more importantly for our clients too. Yep. So, but we're really super glad you're here.
Yes.
And
excited
I'm super glad
here.
to be here on this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stoked.
Well, that's it.
Awesome.
Encite Live episode, whatever number this one is, I don't know. We've got it done. We've got some new team members. We've got some new co-hosts. So, but we'll continue to do Encite Live every Friday. So tune in and see you next time. Thanks, Nikka.
Thanks.